Hello, happy Monday night. For offering tonight, I want to read out of 1 Kings chapter 17, starting in verse 5. It says, So Elijah did as the Lord told him and camped beside Kerith Brook, east of the Jordan. The ravens brought him bread and meat each morning and evening, and he drank from the brook. But after a while the brook dried up, for there was no rainfall anywhere in the land. Then the Lord said to Elijah, Go and live in the village of Zarephath, near the city of Sidon. I have instructed a widow there to feed you. So he went to Zarephath. As he arrived at the gates of the village, he saw a widow gathering sticks, and he asked her, Would you please bring me a little water in a cup? As she was going to get it, he called to her, Bring me a bite of bread too. But she said, I swear by the Lord your God that I don't have a single piece of bread in the house, and I only have a handful of flour left in the jar, and a little cooking oil in the bottom of the jug. I was just gathering a few sticks to cook this last meal, and then my son and I will die. But Elijah said to her, Don't be afraid. Go ahead and do just what you've said, but make a little bread for me first. Then use what's left to prepare a meal for yourself and your son. For this is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says. There will always be flour and olive oil left in your containers until the time when the Lord sends rain and the crops grow again. So she did as Elijah said, and she and Elijah and her family continued to eat for many days. There was always enough flour and olive oil left in the containers, just as the Lord had promised through Elijah. This is a beautiful story. And if you've gone through support raising training with us, then you've heard it from the point of view of Elijah, of being the person to ask and being really brave in a situation that seems like it'd be really hard to say, yeah, give me the last of what you have. But from her point of view, of course, we can just think the opposite is true. Like, somebody is saying that the Lord has need, like, has instructed me to give the last of what I have. Like, literally, this is all that I was going to have, and then I'm going to die because this is it. And it's possible some of us have been in a situation like that before, like close to the end of what we like physically have available, and in a really desperate place. And God doesn't always ask us to give the last of it, right? But when she said yes, what happened? Like, this huge blessing followed where she was about to die because she literally had no more food. But when she said, okay, God, this is you, and I'm going to say yes, then there was always enough flour and olive oil left in the containers, just as the Lord had promised through Elijah. And so this thing of like, rather than her just making this last meal and saying, no, sorry, this is all that I have, and then going on and dying, she like, the jars of flour and olive oil never run dry. That's incredible. Like, God provides for her, not just like, oh yeah, I'll give you enough so that you could feed Elijah too. Or like not just do it, but he blesses her like above and beyond what she could ever ask because she was obedient, right? It's not because of the exact situation that she gave flour and oil, but because God asked and she said yes. And so just want to call us to a place of obedience and listening for God's voice, because this is a situation where it might be easy for us to reason and say, no, God, you're not asking for that. But just want to challenge us to continue to be pressing and hearing God's voice in this time where it seems like maybe resources could feel low, or what we have to give feels like we want to keep it for ourselves because we're not sure, or even for family, like, you know, whatever it is. But I don't know what God is speaking to you, but just want to call us to obedience and to saying, God, whatever it is that you ask, like, I want to say yes, and I trust you're going to take care of me more than I could ever take care of myself. And so just pray that over us tonight. God, you are good and you are trustworthy, and you are worth saying yes to. And God, you don't ask for everything in every situation. That's not your character. But God, when you do ask, we want to be people who say yes to you, just like this widow was. God, and we believe that you can take care of us better than we can ever take care of ourselves. Thank you that you provide and that you love and that you protect, and that your character is so good and so pure. We love you, God. Amen. And so, again, if you don't have a place that you feel excited and just like awesome about giving, that's part of why we have the option to give on the website, mainchialpha.com/give. But be giving where the Lord is asking you to give. So if that's to Chi Alpha, great. If that's to your local church, awesome. If it's to people around you, if it's different things, like, just be saying yes. Love you guys. Hope you have a good night.